Yeah, I did what did I do? I think day 43, 44,
Hmm.
45. I don't know, something like that. Um, I know it when I click on where I am on the,
Yes,
when I see
yeah.
the screen, but I don't remember what number it is. But so hard, so good. I'm like,
Was
oh,
it? Was it some
these are
new ones?
killing me. Yeah, some new ones. I was like, oh my gosh, these are killing me.
Which ones were?
It was the hard. I mean, for me, just doing a leg lift, the one where you're on your side kneeling and a
Hmm.
leg lift. It's like that, because you're using that outside part of your hip. And
Yeah.
that for me has just always been so weak. And I can barely lift my leg up.
Oh.
Oh my gosh.
And now
So
you know that getting those hips strengthened is really important too.
yeah, I
You
know that's
know.
a huge, probably a huge major problem that I have. So
Yeah, with the local client today, she's on week. She's starting over because she never made it through the first time. She just fell
mm,
off, and she's on week 2 or 3. And I was saying, okay, well, I was trying to check her strength, and we were doing different things, and I had her do that exact one today, so, that you're talking about.
mm-hmm.
And then I had to make her put her leg forward and back and forward and back and up and down just to check everything. And yeah, but she could feel it in her side obliques as well. Can you
Yeah,
feel it there?
yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. And it's amazing too, because I'm as I was doing it, I was like, oh, this is, well, because I was talking to a friend of mine about, that study that's, they have the test life expectancy of if you can just stand up, with your legs crossed, and you just stand up, how many people can't stand from sitting
Yeah.
on the floor. And, and how I can't either because I die every time I try to do a Turkish get up, but, I
No.
need to do more Turkish get up. But anyway, so we were talking about that, and I was thinking about that conversation with her when I was doing these leg lifts. Because I'm we were talking about how, we just don't move that way, and I'm like, yeah, how many times have I ever lifted my leg up and out to the side?
Yeah.
But this is a huge part of just strength. You don't even notice how weak you are because you don't move in that way.
Yeah.
Very much so. Um, yeah. But,
Yeah, because we don't move in these ways, and so I just think it's so beautiful because Janine has never seen my program, and I didn't know exactly everything that she was going to say when we started working with ladies. And when she says stuff, I'm like, yes, I have that I have a workout that's going to work that out for these
mm-hmm.
ladies. I have, it's just been such a beautiful thing
Mm-hmm.
that it's come together like that. So,
Mm-hmm.
because, we have to strengthen,
Mm-hmm.
stretch and strengthen.
Mm-hmm.
So important.
She's so great. I cannot believe all of the stuff she knows. It's amazing.
I know.
I'm like, how do you know that? All the ligaments and
I know. And you have some amazing questions. I'm like, what? I would have never thought of some of those things.
oh
And
really? Oh my gosh, this is
yeah, and I'm over here taking notes. And so I always tell my clients, I'm always like, y'all have been my best teachers. And a lot of, because I've had some that really will dive in there with questions, and it makes me deep,
mm-hmm.
dig deep, and ask questions. If I don't know it, I'll find them out because um, I'm a researcher. I can deep research where some people would be like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. And so
Mm-hmm.
I love it. And then we try to practice. Okay, what is it? Does this work? Does this work? And we figure it out. But now
Mm-hmm.
Janine's on, and I'm like, oh, y'all just ask her.
Yeah, she's great. Oh
Hmm.
man.
I love it. So these are questions that I mean, I couldn't answer a lot of the questions. So I think it's perfect.
Yeah, she's so
Um,
great.
so have you checked your diastasis any?
I haven't actually.
Not
Again,
yet.
I haven't
Good.
done it.
Okay. I'm always wondering.
Yeah, I should do that. I was kind of checking it like you said to do when you're on all fours doing the breathing. You're just stick your finger in there and see if everything's okay, and you're not bulging. So I just kind of did that, and I'm like, I think it feels like I mean, I couldn't even put my finger in it. Like,
Oh,
I
good.
did like
Okay.
a really fast check, you know?
Hmm.
I'm like, I can't find the hole, so I guess it's fine.
Okay, good. Yeah,
Keep
and
going.
you'll feel it. You'll feel it.
Yeah.
Have you started Katie Bowman's book yet?
No, my husband just uploaded it to the Kindle
Okay.
today, so
Yeah, because I just
I'm
got a
excited.
that said that they accepted it. So I
Yeah.
didn't know if that was like lingering, and they just told me or not. But you'll enjoy it. It'll just
Yeah, I'm excited.
more information that you're like, oh, okay. Explain it maybe in a different way that you understand it
Yeah.
even
Yeah, I'm
better.
excited.
Okay. So do you have
Mhm.
any other questions before we start on the other stuff about
Yes.
movements or?
Okay, let me think about what exercise it was. It was something that I was doing, and it was like I felt like when I was putting my ribs down, my then my hips went out of alignment. Yeah. So, oh yeah. They like would tuck in. So I'm like, I don't know if it seems like now, I don't know, maybe because I'm stronger. I actually don't know why that it's getting, or maybe I'm just noticing it more now. I don't know. But it seems like it's harder for me to do both at the same time all of a sudden. Or you know what I mean? I'm like, this is so weird because, or it must be that I'm noticing it more. I don't know. But some of the exercises, I guess, when you're kind of like, oh, it was like the push ups
On the
on the
counter
chair.
or the chair?
And yeah, so it was like every time I kept, and then it wasn't it wasn't just like the breathing. Oh yeah, no, it was the one with I don't know what you call it. The one you're on all fours and then you put one arm up and one
Bird
leg
dog?
back. Yes, the bird dog one. Um, but it felt like it was hard for me to not actually put my butt out back. You know what I mean with that? Like I felt like I was like, you know,
So it was hard for you to stay in tucked in that position?
to stay. Okay, so I felt like I was good with my ribs, keeping them in,
Okay.
but it felt like my hips, when I would lift my leg, would my butt would pop back. Like I go my like put my butt up. You know what I
Too
mean? Like
far?
back.
Too far?
Too far back. Yeah.
Okay.
So not tuck under, but tuck back.
So it almost flares your tummy out, maybe? Is that what you're
Yes.
saying? Like your
Yes.
tummy
Like
down? Okay. Yeah. And when you tried to correct it, it wouldn't?
so I guess I couldn't just go as high with my leg
Okay.
in the back. If I kept it lower, then it seemed like it was
I
fine.
wonder
Otherwise,
what muscles are trying to take over there.
okay. Maybe it's
So
because it's super weak.
yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
Okay.
Because sometimes what happens is when you're focusing on one and it can't do it, your body's like the second string muscles is exactly
Okay.
when our
Okay.
bodies
Okay.
do that. They'll take over, and then it makes you get out of correct alignment.
Okay.
So that could possibly be the reason why.
Uh-huh. So you would, so in that case, you would just do
Just
it
don't go
less
as
or
Yeah, just don't go as high,
yeah,
and
and
make
just leave
sure
it.
that if you don't go as high, make sure that you can still feel it. I mean, could you
Wait.
still feel it like in your glutes? The bird dog when you're lifting your
Yeah,
leg.
yeah. You mean like just like that I was working my muscles?
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
mean?
Hmm.
Or feel the alignment?
No, your muscles.
Oh, yeah. I think so.
Okay. Yeah. So just keep strengthening that because eventually those muscles will get strong enough and take over.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's
Okay.
what I think. But also the other thing I was going to say, are you doing your stretch days?
Mm-hmm.
And how are you feeling with those?
Good. I like those a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, it
Um,
always feels good.
are you feeling like you are getting more loose in areas with the stretch days and able to help your body get into better correct alignment?
Yes, I think so. I'm trying to
Okay.
compare over the course of like, yeah, the 6, 7 weeks.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's
just keep track of that exercise.
okay.
I always tell my clients, write that one down.
Okay.
And then always, as you get stronger, go back to it in a week, in 2 weeks, and let it
Mm-hmm.
be a benchmark exercise for you to say, okay, this is where I was. Okay,
Okay.
or 2 weeks from now, how am I doing? And it'll help
Mm-hmm.
you know if you are getting stronger or not. And if you still have issues, then let me know.
Mm-hmm. And I also noticed another thing, which all of the tricep exercises up until now, I have never felt, which is so, I mean, I think it was like I was using other muscles or something, or
Yeah.
wasn't isolating them properly, or I don't know, whatever. But the one where you're like bent over and then you have the one weight out front and then the tricep to the back, you know? So you're
Okay,
bent
so
over and then, yeah, you're holding a weight in front of you and then it's
yeah.
that one, the Superman one. That one, I was just like, my triceps were burning and I just felt like this specific muscle, like I could feel the entire thing, like I knew where it started and where it ended.
Awesome. Okay.
So is that, and so I'm noticing that becoming more and more with other muscles as well, that I'm feeling them more. Is that because they're getting stronger? Is that because I'm actually doing the exercises correctly
Yeah,
now?
I think so. Yeah, because it's just like, okay, you know, when you're doing the squats and you're thinking, I can't feel it in the glutes. I can't, you know, and I'd say, okay, let's readjust you
Mm-hmm.
and go in front of the chair, you know, and then you start
Mm-hmm.
squatting and you can feel it in your glutes. So that means you're doing correct form. So, of
Mm-hmm.
course, yeah, that means you're doing it better. Your body's getting used to it. It's saying, hey, I know what you're doing now.
Mm-hmm.
Because did you really never do any of that stuff before? Not really.
Not some of the really specific isolated things like the tricep
Okay.
stuff.
What size weight are you using?
I actually don't have weights, so I am using
Okay.
a liter water bottle, my metal water bottle.
Yeah.
That's pretty heavy.
Yeah.
So I have like like you know, my glass jar with a bunch of salt in it and my water
Yeah.
bottles, different sizes that I use for my face. And
I
then
think that's great.
I also have, well, because like we're here for another year, so I'm like, and I'm not gonna bring them back. I'm not gonna buy weights for
To
1 year.
move them. Yeah.
And then I brought with me bands though, so sometimes I can use the bands. Like I do that a lot for when you did the
And you
wall
can do
sit
the
for the
bands
bicep.
also the same way you did that. Do you know that?
Okay,
You
yeah,
can
good idea.
stand on it with one foot and
Yeah.
pull this out and then come back with the one back here. So
Yeah.
you can do, I love bands.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I can use them for almost all your exercises with weights.
Okay,
Like
awesome.
so.
And one of the reasons I love for you to hold that weight up is because it's working.
Yeah.
It's this, but it also makes, you know, puts pressure in on your abdominals so that you're getting that work in all different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like your exercises there because I mean I've done a lot of different types, I guess. Like I did Pilates for a while, I did CrossFit for a long time, but they're so I don't know, your exercises are more complex where it's like you do like the basic thing, but then you like add this twist to it, or you know, like just like the sliders, or you know, I'm like, all of a sudden this isn't just a simple wall sit. Now we're doing bicep curls while we're wall sitting here. Or, you know, you're just different where you're doing more complex, which I really like.
Good.
A lot.
They're called hybrid exercises.
I like that.
Yeah. Because you can get, we are busy moms.
Yeah.
And we need to have, you can combine them to get, it's more efficient for us.
Exactly. That's why I was like, this is so efficient. I love this.
Yeah, they're hybrid workouts for busy moms. That's what I like. Okay, cool. All right. So yeah, so just make that a benchmark exercise for you.
That's a good idea.
Okay. All right. So let me come here. Do you have any other questions?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. I'm trying to think. Okay, Bree just woke up. I may have to. Oh, look, she's naked. Go put some shorts on or something, baby. I forgot her panties got wet at the park, and she was griping about them, and she took them off. And and I'm not on live, so it's okay with you. But a lot of times I'm like, oh, wait, I'm on a video. Don't walk in here like that. Okay, you would love to hear more examples of turning negative thoughts to positive ones. I was just looking over this again because I don't hear anywhere. Okay, yeah. Let me, if you don't mind, real quick, just let me turn that TV on for her. I thought she woke up early.
Yeah, no problem. I'm going to grab a drink.
Okay, cool. All right. Baby, you need some help? In there, in the refrigerator, I think on the bottom shelf or something from Jason's Deli.
Got it.
You got it?
Got it.
Did you know which one it's in? Yeah?
Can I have some milk there?
Not on the bread. Just take a drink of it in the, put it on the bench or something. You can't put that on the bread though, baby.
No, I can do it. Well, I'm not going to spill it.
If you want to drink of it, you can put it on the bench and there and get a drink, okay?
Well, I don't want to miss my movie, so I'm going to spill
You
it.
can always pause it. Okay.
How about I just sit here?
You can turn your tray and watch the TV right there.
It's not comfortable.
I know. Then you can have water.
I want Netflix too.
This we're on Netflix.
No, I want Netflix.
We're on Netflix.
No, I
Your flicks. You have to do that with my baby.
No, I'm talking about my Netflix. Netflix. That's it.
Oh, oops, I was in the wrong line. Just, yeah, we'll just sit and then you can watch something different. Okay? Oh gosh. Then you can watch something different. But if not, go back to bed, okay? Yes, honey? Sorry, Erin. I'm almost done.
No problem.
Okay. Sorry about that. She's been kind of CRANKY today. You know
I
those
can't believe she still takes a nap.
Oh, she has to. I mean, we start having meltdowns at about 5, if not.
Yeah.
I had another son who had to have naps till he was 5.
Wow.
But there are some days we can go without it.
Yeah.
But I could even, this morning she woke up a little early and then I could tell she was just BEAR. 11:45, I was like, you need to try to go to sleep. And it took her a while to go to sleep. And now she's up. But okay, so tell me exactly, because I know we've gone over a lot about things. So, no. Shut the door. No. Mercy, go in there. Go.
It's fine.
No. Mercy, no. Mercy, come.
She's just gonna lay on the
Lay down. Stay. So I would love to hear more examples. So tell me exactly what you mean by that.
So Okay, well, I don't have them in my mind. So like, I don't know. I never hear like, you're the only person that I've ever heard of who is like, I don't know, just the examples that you even gave of when you're like, oh, this situation about this person that, you know, I'm 2 minutes of saying all the stuff that I have in my head, and then, okay, how do we flip it around? And then the flipping part, that's the part where I'm like,
That's what you have a hard time
come
with.
up blank. That, you know what I mean? I'm like,
Yeah.
like, or I guess like how you, I guess, what is your train of thought for like how, like, what is the flipping part? What do you, because like, I'm thinking, you know, this doesn't make the situation go away, or it doesn't make this person, like, you know what I mean? I'm like, you don't say things like, oh, they're nice. They're not nice. But you know what I mean? So it's like, so what are the positive, like, I guess, like, kind of walk me through that again of like what kinds of things are you saying about a person or a situation that you don't like, or that's the positive part.
Okay. So, because we definitely can't change them.
Right. So,
Yeah. So, first of all, these are things and thoughts that I always personally think is, I think, I always tell God, first of all, that they make me furious. You know, I'm like, I really think that they're mean and they're not very nice, but I know they're your children and you love them, and help me to see them through your eyes, because I know you have a plan and a purpose for them as well. And wherever there is hurts in their lives, you know, they're this way for a reason, and it could be personality clashes, but you know that, do this real quick. That he's got, you know, a plan and a purpose for them as well, and that you just help me to be the person in that situation that I need to be. That, you know, things can roll off me like a duck. You know, I focus a lot on myself. I always tell God, like I said, like, I'm get frustrated with them, help me to see them through their eyes, or through God's eyes, and then pray for healing where they have hurts, you know, and just help me to respond in a situation. Is there a way that I need to be, you know, responding differently? Okay, if so, I thank you that I respond in a good way, you know, no matter what. So I just really focus on and try to be in a responsive mode than a reaction mode. You know, and it's just always going to depend on the situation. So I don't know if I've told you anything about my husband's ex-wife. Okay, so I have to deal with really bad attitudes, you know, and lies a lot. So because nothing she says about it is ever truth that comes out. Well, and then she is a Christian, and she talks about God, and she talks about how mean people are horrible, and she is a mean person. And so I cannot change her. You know, I can't change her, but I can change my thoughts. And when I release her and I go through forgiveness steps, because I don't know what you really need. Like, I don't know if you need forgiveness. I don't know if you need to let go of things. I don't know if it's that deep or it's just surface when you're around just certain people. But when I do that, and then I also speak blessings onto them, you know, of how I would want to be blessed, because we want to do unto others as we would want to have done for us. So I do that. And once I do that, that actually changes my heart in dealing with them. Like, I have a softer heart, and what they say or do doesn't really affect me as much. So she can lie now, she can do things, and it just doesn't really affect me, because, hey, I know that's who she is, and she's got things she's dealing with, and I don't have to even deal with that. I just have to worry about my responses. Does that help you? I know that's not giving you an example, but that's just kind of how I deal with it with people that I can't change. And I know that I'm good at responding and not reacting.
And so are you kind of going through this process in like every interaction,
Probably in my
or
mind.
yeah, like in your head, you're just like, this is your like, okay, no, okay, we're going
Mm-hmm.
and trying to manage your own mind, I guess.
Yes.
And
Yeah, because if not, I'm going to let my mind's going to run wild.
mhm,
And I'm going to be like, they're a jerk, and I cannot believe. I'm not saying I don't get mad, but if I stay on top of it and worry about me and let God worry about them,
mhm.
and sorry, I've got fuzzies and blurry eye, then it's just so much easier.
Mhm.
So, so what are some things that you think you could say in a situation about yourself? Do you want help, or let me see if you could come up with something. Like you're in a situation with somebody, and can you give me an example? Have you been around this lately, or
Yeah, so particular a situation with someone at work
okay?
who is um, more like passive aggressive, or like not kind of like taking credit for so it's like you say, oh, how about we do something this way, and then it's kind of like, oh, I have this good idea, let's do it this way, and you're like, I just said that, or you know what I mean. So there's like so it's nothing like hugely mean, or you know what I mean, like that, but it's like constant little things, I guess.
Okay.
That's like undertones of passive aggressiveness, or like controlling, oh, I'm gonna, take control of the situation, or it was my idea, or something like that. So it's like a lot of little things.
Okay. So here's what I would be doing. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm just writing some things that I have written down. Okay. So because it's perfect, because his ex does a lot of this kind of stuff too, like with the kid. She really has helped me come up with a lot of examples for people. I hate to say that, but that's just how it is. So I would be like, you know what, God, it doesn't matter. If she wants the credit, she can take the credit, but you give me credit, and I want the credit that you give me, because it's even better than what she can have, and that you have favor. You've promised me that I have favor. And so I thank you that wherever I go and where she is, I have favor, and that you are my vindicator. Because even if you had an idea that, Lord, you're going to, and people who aren't Christians, you can still speak positive things of, I know that I will get the credit when the credit is due, and all these things. But, God does see all, and He is our vindicator. I don't know how people live and they're not Christians, but I just cannot function that way. But so I'm not real good when people aren't Christians. I'm like, you're just gonna have to deal with my wording, okay? And change it for your
You
wording.
translate it however.
Yeah, they have to translate it however they do. But I just have so much trust and faith in Him that He works all things out. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and He also can, His word says, maybe it doesn't look like that, so you're going to call those things. We're going to speak those things into existence, just like He did, and you're just going to keep doing it, and speak His word. He wants you to. So He's giving you favor. He's your vindicator. And you're gonna. I just release them because they're probably dealing with something, and they may not even realize they're dealing with something. And I'll tell you right now, if people are like that, if they are controlling or narcissistic or whatever, they're not going to see it. But you can be better, and
Mm-hmm.
no matter what they're doing, you know. So, for instance, if you're around a narcissist, my stepdaughter was going out of town, and this was making me mad. And it wasn't even directed at me. So this is kind of how I handled it. She's going out of town with her mom and all the family, and she asked her mom and said, "Can me and Blake's her fiance? Can me and Blake bring his dog there to the cabin?" And Katrina, that's her name, and she's dating some guy. She's been dating some guy for a while. Well, he doesn't really like dogs, but she said, "Yeah, sure, you can. You can bring the dog." So on the way there, she gets there, she gets out of the car, everybody's on the front porch. Her mom's not on the front porch, she's in the house. But Brent, the boyfriend, and his family's there. They didn't say one word to her. They didn't say hi, nothing. And then her mom walks out and says, "What the H-E-double-L, Christian?" Like, because, she had brought the dog, I guess. So Christian's like, okay. Well, so Christian walks in and goes up the stairs, and Christian's like, "What, Mom? Why'd you say that?" And she said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't tell Brent that you were bringing the dog, so I had to pretend like I didn't know." So, I mean, that just makes her daughter look bad. So she put it on her daughter. So my blood's boiling because I'm thinking, just let your daughter take the brunt end of everything. That's just so rude. So I had to take it, I was breathing and I was going through all of my steps of saying, you see what's happening. I trust that you even have Christian's heart and that you help me to speak into her life and be, a good influence on her, that she realizes that this isn't how life should be. This is not what a mom should be like, because she kind of is, my stepdaughter's more like her mom. She's learned a lot in how to manipulate like her mom. And so I've had to learn how to do these things with them. But just trusting God and looking in there and even saying who you are in the situation, because a lot of times when people are being mean to you, it's probably not even, or they're being passive aggressive, it's not even to do with you. It's to do with them. So knowing who you are and speaking those I am scriptures out more every day is actually going to put you in more of a responsive mode than reaction.
And responsive, you mean, what would you say is responsive?
Responsive would be like, so reacting to me is like you just react really harshly. You don't even think about it. Mm-hmm. Responding is, when somebody is going to come to you and be that way, it's not going to make you react because you're already sure of who you are. You're already thinking ahead. So you take time to process your thoughts before you react. It's going to help you to be more responsive, help you to, because she's come up to me and been very rude and I wanted to react really bad to her. And I have just took my time and thought, and you can go through thoughts like this. I know who I am, da 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 da. And I've looked at her and said, I'm really sorry that you feel that way. Or, I'm sorry. I can be the better one. I'm sorry if I've done anything that would have hurt your feelings or something. And I can do that because I know who I am. Mm-hmm. And I know it's not my issue, and God can deal with that. Mm-hmm. And He's blessed me 100-fold because of it. Mm-hmm. So me having to put my pride aside, like my pride, I have to just lay it aside and not let that affect me. Things like that. Mm-hmm. Being around somebody that's passive aggressive, taking credit, all that, it makes you want to puff up, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So those are some things that
it's like you want to defend yourself or something.
Yes, the defending. Mm-hmm. Good, I'm glad you said that. Yeah. So I let God be my defender. Mm-hmm. It's the best. And sometimes it's not my timing. But it's always better. Always better. Mm-hmm. But there are times that God will give you words. I'm telling you, when you aren't reactive and you take time to even say, Lord, what would you like me to say in this situation? Is there anything that you'd like me to say, like me to speak? And He will give you the words to speak, mm-hmm. to just, and people who are like that, sometimes this really stinks. But if you give them credit, it makes them feel really good. And that's putting, that's setting aside pride. And it's helped me in so many situations because I have dealt with but I also have my boundaries. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't let them walk over me. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that helps.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a good example.
Yeah, but it's a lot of practice beforehand, because I can come up and say all these things because I know because I've been doing it, because I've been practicing it. And the more you do it, the easier it gets. So, maybe journal the situation and then think about who you are in that situation. Think about what you could say, what you could do. If you're up against that type of people all the time, that would just be something I would do. So it takes preparation.
And then how do you, I guess, manage your thoughts? What's your mindset in something where you have a goal or a dream? Like what, I guess, how do you come to realize it, or like what's going through your head, I guess?
So is this when you already have a goal?
Yes.
Okay. And so how do I manage it?
Yeah, and in your mind, how do you, not like make a plan, like a logistical plan, but I guess like have those positive thoughts toward achieving it, I guess?
Yeah, because that can be difficult, especially if you don't see it and or things like that. So I have to do it every day. So I have, and I mean, this is just this is just what I do, and it helps you. But every single morning, I get up with my journals, and I have a list of everything that I wanted, my goals and everything. So I just do what I've always told you. I just start speaking them, and I actually close my eyes. Something I've been doing more is I picture myself being the mom that I want to be. I picture myself already hitting those goals. I try to put all 5 senses into the visual, and those are some of the things that I do every morning. And then if I have time at night, I do it at night, or during the day, I do it during the day. So I just go through, and it takes me 5 minutes really to go through all of these things. Because what I've noticed is if I stop doing that, then I kind of start going back into a rut. And I know that I need, like in my brain, it's like, okay, I know I have these things. But if I do not sit down and take the time to meditate on those things, it puts me back in a rut. But when I do, it actually thrusts me forward to reach my goals. So if I want to be healthy, I visualize this healthy person, and I put, what does it taste like to eat the food? What does it feel like to eat the food? What does it, feel like to have my meals prepped for me? What is it, I prep my meals. What does it feel like to be organized enough to do this? What does it look for my family? But I have to have a goal and a vision to hit for that, because if I don't have a vision for that, that's what I'm doing. I'm creating that vision in my mind. I'm not going to hit it. But I have to visualize it every day. And I mean, there may be a day I miss it, but when I miss it, I feel different. I can handle more things when I've visualized and everything, and I know and I visualize who I am, who God says I am, and so that's just what I do. Is that something, or do you want me to?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Go further.
What's your favorite parts of scripture that you like to meditate on and read over and over?
Oh, they're different all the time. Different seasons. Like my scripture has always been Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans you have for me. Right now, our goal, it's right up there on the refrigerator. It's, I will do exceedingly abundantly above what you can think or imagine. And Dusty called me one day and he was like, babe, this is our scripture for the year. I said, okay. And then I started doing my quiet times and I'd flip open and I'd flip to that scripture. And then I was looking around and he had a bookmark up there that had the same scripture. I said, where'd you find that? And he said, well, I don't know, it was just laying on the ground. I was like, okay. So I put it up there and it was just God confirming this is y'all scripture. So I like to do, here, hang on one second. Let me show you something. Okay, I have several of these books around, and they're just different kinds of books. Like even The Power of a Praying Parent, if you're dealing with something with your kids, she's going to have scriptures in there with the prayers. Then you could just meditate on with your kids. So I have, this is a Joyce Meyer one that I've had for years, but I have all different ones, but it's this little book, and what you can do is, see, anxiety, anger, worry, all of that, and then you just open it up and I don't speak all the scriptures, so on different subjects, but so these are anger, and so any of them that might resonate with me, I'll pull them out and I'll meditate on those for a while. And that really helps me just kind of have a guide for a situation that I'm going through. So that's one thing I really love to do. And then God just gives me different scriptures for different seasons that I'm in. So when I was really going through all of that with his ex-wife, I was in the thick of it, in the midst of it, in the very beginning, and it was so overwhelming, and I just, you couldn't even believe what we went through. Every time I would open my Bible or somebody would tell me, or they'd call me with a word, it would say, talk about God being my vindicator. And that he was going to do it and I didn't have to. So I would totally speak that scripture and just speak it and believe it and speak it and believe it and would say, God, she's doing this, but you said that you would be my vindicator. And then I walked through the steps and the processes of forgiving and everything, and then praying for her and blessing her. That was probably one of the hardest things, because deep down inside I didn't want to see her blessed. I want to see her blessed. I don't want to see somebody who's so vicious to us be blessed. But the more I walked through that, the more I pray for her. I can pray for her at the drop of a hat today. And I can, God helps me see her through his eyes. It doesn't mean that I don't get mad still, because I definitely get mad and I have to tell Dusty about it, but then I go through all these steps that I'm telling you, and then I'm so much better. And then I get stronger and stronger and stronger with it. It's growing a muscle. It's just like growing a muscle. And hang on, let me tell my husband. Yeah, so I guess you probably understand that. It's just growing a muscle.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, just like speaking all these positive things, it's growing a muscle. So the way that I explain it, I know I've probably said this to you before, it's so simple yet so difficult.
Well, especially, because that's I guess kind of what I've been, because if no one else is doing it, or you don't hear it, you know what I mean, from anywhere, then you're like, wait, what's positive again? Or what's positive about the situation again? Or how can I not think about it in this way that I've been thinking about? Or, you know what I mean? Your mind is trained, 30 years of doing.
Oh, okay. So some books you should get. Have I told you about Dr. Caroline Leaf? Have I told you about her?
No.
Okay. You're going to like this because you kind of like questions. So when I first started learning about, this was years ago when I started listening to Dr. Caroline Leaf. She came to our church. I was on the edge of my seat. She's a neuroplastician. She's a Christian brain person. And she talks about our brain. We are neuroplasticians. We can change our brain. So Dr. Caroline Leaf, she has Who Switched Off Your Brain and Who Switched On Your Brain, and just other books. And you're going to understand why this works. So, yes, go look at her. And then also Google TBN Dr. Caroline Leaf. So you'll get she's on video. And she's amazing. She talks about how we have bad trees and good trees in our brain. And the bad trees will you can literally watch them grow in your brain depending on what thoughts you have, and them disappear and everything. And so, yeah, I've been studying this for years. And then I found other people who are non-Christians, because I had a really hard time. I tell you, it took me a while. I had a hard time because I was watching these non-Christians meditate and speak things, and things were happening for them. And I think what really did it for me is I was training a lady to become a prenatal specialist. So I was testing her and everything to see, if she could pass the test. And she told me she went to this bookstore. So she was not a Christian. She's just real new agey. And she was like, I just went in with the intention that I was going to find this book. And I did. I wasn't going to leave until I found it. And she said, that's just how, when you have intentions, how the universe works for you. And I was like, okay. And so I just kind of went on this year-long study of our thoughts and our mind, and asking God, you need to help me understand why this works for people who aren't Christians. I need to understand this because I don't live that life. I'm not ever. I've always loved you, and I need to understand, why is this not different? And he was like, well, it is different, but I've also set up principles that, with Dr. Caroline Leaf, it's scientific. It's laws that God has put into place that he wants. When we think on these things, this is what happens, and there is an attraction. So the thing is when we are definitely thinking of all the negative stuff, and that's pretty much what we're going to get. It doesn't matter if you're Christian or non-Christian. That's what you're going to get. I've watched it happen over and over again, and I've watched Christians fail over and over again because their thoughts are in a horrible place. So, yeah, this works for Christians and non-Christians, but there's a bit different to me now. What God has shown me is I get to hear his voice, and I get to respond to it. I get to understand and know the difference of whose voices I'm listening to, where it's coming from, that I have a spirit inside me that can, that I am more spirit than flesh, because what created this world? Spirit created this world, not flesh. And so I don't think that we pay attention enough to that we are more spirit than flesh, and our spirit can hear God's spirit, and that we can, know what he's saying to us. So that is so important to me. And so when I believe that, I can walk in it and be confident in that. But I'm telling you how God set up this world and our brains and our bodies. And that's why now I'm like, these new age people, I'm like, do you understand that God is the one who set this in motion? He's the one that spoke the earth into existence with he knew what he wanted, and we're creating his image. We can do it. He spoke the world into creation. He spoke it. He wants us to speak. Our tongue has creative power. Our thoughts can have creative power if we just learn to speak it. It's very powerful. So God showed me one day. See, I live in a little 2-bedroom house. Did I tell you that?
No.
Okay, so I have had a poverty mindset. I've lived with a poverty mindset for a long, long time. Not for the last year and a half, 2 years. God's helped me understand things. Like, my whole life has changed since for 2 years. I always said, okay, so I was cleaning this house one day. We had to downsize. So we lived in a pretty big house, and we downsized because, like, my husband he was in sales, and for 8 months, what he was in, economy was getting horrible, and he couldn't find another job, and we didn't make enough money to even pay our bills for 8 months. But God always provided, just always provided. And I've always known that God just provides. So he just always does. But I was cleaning this house one day, and God said, what have you always said about staying home with your kids? I was like, oh my gosh. I said, if I will live in a 2-bedroom shack, it's a cute little house, but I will live in a 2-bedroom shack to stay home with my kids. I have said that for years, because And it's not just that, it's about my wedding ring and getting it made. And the guy who made it finally said, do you not feel like you're worth more than a Walmart ring? And I just went home bawling and crying because I thought, no, because I mean, just, I had to overcome shame and a lot of stuff.
Mhm.
And that's when he told me, he was like, Libby, you spoke this house into existence because you didn't believe for more. So he's literally had me drive through neighborhoods that were very, very nice and picture myself living there. I mean, I know this sounds crazy, but I mean, I've pictured myself living in these places. Not that that's what, I'm not a real materialistic person. I'm a pretty simple girl, but he did that so I could believe, so I could feel inside here that I'm a child of God, that I'm a princess, that it's come from the inside out. And that's where it is. And now he's just blessed us so much that in this last 2 years that I'm amazed. So we also had to work on some bankruptcy stuff from his divorce and my divorce and things like that. But it's just been a beautiful thing to watch how God has been teaching me about my thoughts, even in a home.
Yeah. Wow.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah. So it's really crazy because you can sit there and watch things like, well, they're not Christians or they're doing something wrong. How come they're getting blessed with this? I don't understand that. So what I didn't understand was my mindset stunk. So instead of me being jealous of somebody, if they've got something, this is what I do. I say, thank you, God, that you're showing me that, thank you that you bless them with that. And thank you that you're showing me that you're no respecter as a person. If that's something that I desire, that I know that you'd like to bless me with that. So, I mean, my whole mindset has totally changed.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
A lot of people don't really understand that I all this came from God. He's the one that said, take all your thoughts captives. He wants us to meditate on his word. He wants us to think on these things that are pure and lovely, and he knows why. He knows what it does for us. First of all, number one, stress. To not have the stress,
To not have the stress of it.
Yeah, because that causes so much sickness in our body, so I think I shared that with you. I'm really thinking about the type of mom that I want to be. I smile at my kids more. And just sitting there every morning, visualizing what it's going to look like, how I'm going to interact with my kids for that day, even if they spill stuff all over the floor or whatever, how I can respond to it, and just be ready to respond. I'm not perfect, but it helps me to be way better.
Mm-hmm.
So does some of that stuff sound woo out there for you?
No, I'm right there with you. It's just like amazing. I'm just, I don't know. I just never heard about this before, but it makes total sense.
Yeah. And when you're done doing Caroline Leaf stuff, come back to me and I'll share some more with you. I don't want to overload you.
Okay.
If you like to study. So
Yes,
I would go to her first.
Okay.
Yeah. And just hearing some Christian speakers actually start speaking this way and not worrying that people don't think that they're new agey, because this actually came from God first. And
Right.
of course, just like the world perverts things,
Right.
Yeah. So it is just a different feeling not having to walk around with all those horrible, I want the norm to be positive thoughts and not negative thoughts. I want that to be where my brain goes instead of all the negative, because when something happens that's not the greatest, where does our mind go? It goes to all the negative. Well, I do this a lot now. It's like, okay, well, this happened, but what are the positives that can come out of this? Okay, let's look at this. Instead of sitting here in this, we go there. And that's what I want the norm to be. Why does it have to be the negative?
Mm-hmm.
It's because I'm not trusting, for me, I'm not trusting enough that worry and anxiety for me is trusting a future without God in it.
Mm-hmm.
And if I believe his word and I believe he's true, then I'm going to speak these things and believe them, even if I don't see them. But I promise when our brains change, literally we can change our brains. It's called neuroplasticity. You can go look up neuroplasticity, and we start changing that, and changing from the inside out. That's when real change happens. Not from the outside in, it's from the inside out.
It's amazing. I was just thinking about how, I don't know, like people always are like, just like sit around waiting for things to happen or something, like it is like this mentality of the external is supposed to, like, I'm waiting for something good to happen to me today and it's not happening. And, but like you're saying, like, that's not how things work. So it comes from the inside. So I don't know, I'm just thinking about it in all the examples I know of.
How about this? Instead of saying I'm waiting for something, I'm expecting good things to happen today. That's what I do. I expect something good to happen every single day. Something good is going to happen. And then your mind looks for all the good that happened that day and not the bad. Because if you're looking for something bad, you're going to find it. But if you're looking for something good, you're going to find it. And so whatever that good is, I don't know. But when we change our perspective from looking at, it's just like when you see a picture that was drawn to look like two different things. So when somebody looks at it, they say, what do you see? Some people see one thing and another person sees another thing. Well, what do you want to see in your day? Do you want to see the positives and the good, or do we want to sit here in the negative? Because if we do, we won't go forward in that. We won't move very forward. We won't change very much. And I don't believe we can walk in all that God has for us if we don't. So there was something else I was going to tell you, and I cannot remember. You said something, and I don't know what it was. And I don't share like totally all this with everybody like I just did with you, because some people just can't. They're like, oh, I'm not even there yet. I can't handle this.
What part? Like
just even with God, or us being more spirit than flesh, or they just cannot handle it. Like, what are you talking about? Okay, so I just have to meet people where they are.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Well, have you been doing that every day, or is it something that you think, okay, I know I should do this, and I know these are things that I want to do. These are things I want to get, but you don't take the time to just sit and really get all your senses involved and to really look at them.
Right. More like that. More like I need to figure out how to schedule it in my day and when that is.
Okay, so what if you put, so we're moms, right? So we need to learn how to piggyback and multitask things. Okay. So what if every day you make your bed, and if you make your bed, that can be when you're speaking your truths. And you visualize it while you're making your bed, and you maybe you record them on your phone, and you can listen to them and close your eyes, and as much as you can, really get it in you when you're doing that. And what about if when you take a shower, when you can get in there, that could be, I understand how these little kids, that can be the time that you pray for others. You know that this specific time is when I'm going to do this. Or when I'm folding laundry, if there's something, I know that I can do this. And so God honors that no matter, because he knows we're mommies. So he made our brains to be able to do that. So it's going to be better than if you're stressed and you can't, if you're not having time, then I would say, okay, when I brush my teeth, these are the things I'm going to think about. When I make my bed, here's what I'm going to think about. Or like put your specific ones up on a mirror when you're brushing your teeth. Put something on your bedside when you're making, so this is what I'm going to focus on every single morning when I make my bed. This is what I'm going to focus on when I brush my teeth. and when I shower. And then you haven't added something extra.
Right. That's a
Yeah.
great idea.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. So do that.
Yeah, perfect. Tell me all your mom secrets.
Yeah. So that's what I say. Do that. Just like working out with your kids. Bring them in there, because I don't know. Like, I'm not going to be perfect. Honestly, something that I have been, I was like this morning, okay, God, I'm going to work on my AM and PM routine again. Please, those are my two. That's been my weaknesses. That right there, my AM and PM routine schedule, because I don't know if you know personalities, but I am an ENFP. I am a type 1 Carol Tuttle. I am more of a sanguine, and I don't like structure. Like, I want to break out of structure. It drives me
funny.
bananas. I know. I can't stand it. And I can do it for a week, and then I'm like, that is so boring. Even though I loved everything that I did, I am so bored. So I have to find, like, that is, I'm like, okay, I can do this. And so I really have started, I haven't written that down lately, or things that I really focus on. So I have been focusing on my AM and PM schedule. And I have a husband that is a night owl as well. So it just does not.
Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah. So I will sleep in, and Bree will get in there, and I will let her sleep on me and cuddle. Like, it is my favorite time. I just want to sleep with her and not get out of bed. And I know I have things I have to do, but those are things that I tend to do. And then, but if I know I have that down, I'll be better. You're probably better with your schedules, aren't you?
Yeah, well, I'm an ENTJ, and like super choleric.
Okay, yeah.
Person.
Well, I'm ENFP, and sometimes I'm an ENTP.
Yeah, see, I'm an ENTP too sometimes. I'll do ENTP or ENTJ. My T and my P will flip.
Your P's flip. Your P and okay. My P's do not flip. Is the T the
well, my T and my F will never flip. No way.
Okay, so you're more choleric then?
Yeah.
So when you get around somebody who, see, that's what I was saying about personalities, because I'm a personality study junkie too. I love studying it.
Yeah, me too.
So when you are around passive aggressive people that want to take control, I'm sure that cleric in you is like, oh no, this is not going to fly with me. So you have to really also, tweak it to your personality. Like, you can't be me. I don't want you to lose your clericness, because that's a gift. You have a gift in it. I mean, with every personality, because I am optimistic, I can see the positive pretty easy. I can, my glass is pretty much half full, and that's just how I am. And I know it doesn't, like, I have a cleric son, and so he will call me and say, Mom, I want to go to work today, Mom. And he can be like, and he's just really bold, and he can be brash. And so I'll say, okay, do you really want me to tell you how we do this? And he's like, yeah. And I'll say, so I'll start speaking all these things. And then I'm like, okay, that's what I'm going to do. Okay. But it is a little harder for him than it is for me, but it's not impossible. But that's what with personalities, you can't ever compare your personality to mine. You've got to find your perfect. Just ask God to help you find your perfect, truths for yourself and responses, because you have a gift that I don't have. Well, I can be choleric at times, but that's not what I lead with. So I can be impatient, and I can be
all the choleric weaknesses.
I can be emotional. I can be a yeller and a screamer. I haven't done that in a long time, but that's what my body would want to do. But the more I do this, the less that I want to do it. So have you heard of Carol Tuttle, Dressing Your Truth? No? Okay, she's a lady, I don't know if she's a Mormon or what, but she talks about God a lot. But she's also a healer, and so she does talk about God and angels, but I've listened to all her stuff. Like I love her stuff. Carol Tuttle, it's called Dressing Your Truth, and she has you take personality tests. Well, not really. It's your energy, what you lead with. So type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4. Sometimes cholerics might be type 3s, but I don't know if that's really true with what you are. But I would say it might be. But she talks about how you can dress in different colors and stuff for your energy type, and it's so far I found it to be very true for type 1s.
Interesting.
And, yeah, but she does a whole lot more than just that. And I mean, she talks about your energy, and she talks about how type 1 should be. Like, she's got a book called The Child Whisperer that I have on my Kindle. She has, and it talks about understanding your child's types, type 1, type 2, type 3, or type 4. And boy, it's helped me with Bree a whole lot. And then she has another book called, I started crying. I was bawling when I discovered who I was, because I was trying to be a peacemaker. So she has a book called, It's Just My Nature and Remembering Wholeness. But you can find her on Facebook. She's big on Facebook.
What's her name again?
Carol Tuttle.
Okay.
Tuttle. And you can take her free. Now she's made it free. She used to charge $197 for this course, and now it's a free course. You just can buy style guides and different things if you want to go along with the course. And she runs specials on them all the time.
Cool.
Yeah. So if you like to study personalities,
yeah, that's super cool.
You would really like that. And so, yeah, everything I'm teaching you is going to help change your brain. But don't lose who you are in it to be like my flair. Does that help you?
Yeah, I definitely couldn't be sanguine if I tried.
And I'm not as sanguine as my mom. Oh my gosh, my mom is bubbly to the point. I'm like, Mom, you need to come down some.
It's so funny.
But my secondary is different than my mom's secondary. So I'm a more serious sanguine. I'm a sanguine, but I can be more serious. I'm a type 1 with Carol Tuttle, but I'm more of a serious type 1. So I've learned my level. So because I'm that researcher, and I'm that information junkie. Isn't that weird? So that
so funny.
The scattered type 1 that loves all this information. That I have a piece of paper with a phone number on it in a pile right there, and you better not move it, because if I get organized, I can't find the phone number.
That's so funny. Oh, it's so funny. I know one of my sons is so sanguine. He's only 3, but there's no hiding it. I mean,
is he laid back?
He's so cute. Oh yeah, he's like the peacemaker and the one. He's got the best ideas. So many great ideas. And
they will get him a binder to put all his ideas in and write them down so he can have an ideal binder.
Oh my gosh, it's so great. He has all this, his favorite thing is he'll say something and I know we could, and then he goes off on this crazy story. You're like, and then he always ends it with sound like a plan.
Oh my gosh. That is what my mother says, and I do too. We'll go sound like a plan. Is that how about them apples? I mean,
yeah.
Say, but if you love learning, oh my gosh, so he sounds like a total type 1. So Carol Tuttle also does this, and all of her new podcasts are for 2018 are only like 13 to 15 minutes, and her daughter do it now. Carol Tuttle's probably choleric, and she's a type 3. Her daughter on here is a type 2, but it's called the Child Whisperer podcast.
Okay.
And if it's type 1 would be your son, one of your sons anyways. And like Bree I think she's like a type 3, type 1. Like I think she's a choleric sanguine or a sanguine choleric. I haven't figured out yet which one. I think so Carol Tuttle talks about the type 1s and type 3s are more of the extrovert energies, and they are the 1s lead with a bounce and a lightness, and the 3s lead with more of a push forwardness. Okay, so I can have a push forwardness more than my mom, but it's due to my secondary, which is strange. But I don't know if Bree is a 1-3 or a 3-1. The minute I think she's a 1-3, the next minute I'm like, oh no, there is nothing that's lightness and bounce. I mean, hi, but it's a very push forward. Hi, how are you? Let me get in your space. So she's a double extrovert, which makes it like, so I'm not a double extrovert.
So funny.
Yeah. But yeah, try those. So do Caroline Leaf and check out Carol Tuttle.
Okay, I will.
And then you can always come back to me for more resources.
Okay.
I've been doing this a long time.
That's super cool. Yeah, I definitely will.
Okay. So I hope that helps you.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Okay. And just know you're building muscles in your mind. And you're building good trees. When you hear Dr. Caroline Leaf, you'll understand what I'm saying when you're building beautiful, good trees in your brain. That you're really, oh my goodness, yeah. So, the other neat thing is with Carol Tuttle, you can tell people's types by facial features.
What?
Yeah, it's pretty interesting because,
So
some people can have more blended faces, but if you go back on her videos and stuff on Facebook and stuff, you'll see where she's even doing celebrities, and she'll draw out the facial features, and like I can look and see different things in mine. Like I see your eyebrows, it'll go. You've got a little, so it's an angle. So that's like a kind of a type 3, but I also see like little circles. So that's kind of type 1. So but even like this right here on you could be an angle. So I don't know. I want to see what you think after you.
It's so interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. Well, do you have any other questions? Does that help you enough for this week?
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. And just keep up with your questions because I love them.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah. All right. Well, y'all have a good night. I'm going to play for 10 minutes and then have a call at 3.
All right. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
You saying bye? Yeah.
Bye.
Okay. Let me.
Bye.